temple. Your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams. But somehow out of reach, eluding me until I release. You come close to me when I release, and I let you take the lead when I release. My heart starts to see when I release. When I release, you said, "Come to my garden, eat from my tree, step in my river, let it take you deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. You walk out, you're able to carry my peace." It's an ancient sound heard from the ones who came before. Now it's here once more to pierce your soul. A simple melody playing over and over in your streets, like a whirlwind turning things, tearing down the dark. That's where I release, and my heart starts to sing when I release. I let you take the lead when I release. You come close to me when I release. When I release, it's all in your feelings. It's all how I receive your sound. All in your feelings, your emotions, they find me out. It's all in your feelings. It's all how I receive your sound. All in your feelings, your emotions, they find me out. When I let it go, when I let it go, then I let it go. I let it all go now. I let it go. Hey, now I let it go. Whoa, I let it go. Whoa, I let it all go now. Oh, 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 oh.
What's up, everybody? We are live. It is Tuesday night, and we are in the Lion's Den. It's time for the Young Lion TV podcast. Shout out to if you're watching on Instagram right now. If you're on Instagram, please go and hit the YouTube channel. Go hit the Facebook channel and watch the rest of the live stream. I'm just on here right now to let y'all know that we're going to be live over on our Facebook. We're doing the live stream on Facebook and on YouTube right now, also on Twitch. So if you want to catch the whole live stream, join in over there. Shout out to y'all. See y'all later.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
All right. Somebody jumped the gun on the intro right there, but you know, we're here. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button and, share this video with your feed because the algorithm does not promote our live stream. I couldn't even find it. I was looking for it to share it when we went live. I couldn't find it. I'm like, where is it? But, I found it. I was able to get to it and share it. So make sure you guys share the video, like it, and, get it out there to your friends and family because we're talking about some real stuff that's going on right now. I mean, Sound of Freedom is $85 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's big. Yeah. $85 million.
Right. Wow, because it was only 14 at first.
Yeah. We got that story. We got Biden falling asleep mid-sentence. I don't know if you guys saw this. We got that story.
No.
Him at the NATO summit.
Oh, my God.
And also Trump indicted for the third time. We got that story, and we got a lot more. So joining me.
Hunts.
Huh?
I said the witch hunts.
Yeah, the witch hunts, you know the purpose of that. So joining me today is, of course, my big brother, but he's everybody's big brother. He is Mr. Jacob Eugene Evans, the third with me. And you see there's a lot of space next to him right there because someone is supposed to be coming and joining, sitting in that seat right there. So hopefully he'll be here soon. And then producing tonight is the greatest producer in the world.
Yeah, I messed up.
Even though she went to the intro before we were ready. But she still does her thing, and she's our mom, and we love her, and she is Miss Angeli Lopez. Shout out to her as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've been getting a lot of love on, Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Shout out to Courtney in the chat. Said, Happy Tuesday, family. Said, hey, Mom. Courtney is one of our Patreon members. And speaking of that, if you want to support the Young Lions and you want to become a part of the tribe, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/youngliontv. You can see it at the bottom of the screen there, and you can become a member right over there. You can sign up, and there's plenty of tiers for you to sign up for so you can support the cause and you can become a part of the pride. Also, we have a merch store. Link is in the description of the video where you can get the hats that we got on and the t-shirts and the mugs and all the stuff. There's a towel behind Jake on that chair right there and a book bag. Towel behind Jake over there and a book bag.
Oh my God. I don't know. I got to wake up tonight.
Wow. You should have seen her face.
What?
Her face. She was like, when you were saying it.
Yeah, it's all good, Mom. It's all good. You're a little out of practice and you're hot because my AC broke.
That's what she's focused on.
I know.
Yeah, that's why we need your pay.
Yeah, we need support. So shout out to the Patreon members. Courtney is one of them. But yeah, so
Bacon down here.
We're gonna go see Sound of Freedom tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got a big group of people coming
Yeah.
to go see it together in Cherry Hill. So hopefully there's no shenanigans.
Is Courtney going?
I don't know. Courtney, are you going? Are you going to with everybody? Let us know if you're going in the chat. Yeah, but we're going to see that tomorrow night with a big group of people. Support that film in theaters. Everybody should support this film in theaters.
Yeah.
To really boost these numbers. It's right up there with Mission Impossible right now.
Wow.
So, I think the cultural impact of this movie is huge. Courtney said she's going. Jess said I'm going. We know you're going, Jess. We know that already. But the cultural impact of this movie is very important, and the things that we see it doing, and the awareness it's bringing to a huge problem in this society that people don't often like to talk about. And I think it's done in a very creative way. When I was watching the director on Timcast, he was saying like the guy that wrote the movie, he turned the horror of what Tim Ballard experienced on a regular basis into poetry. You know what I mean?
I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch that interview?
I watched. I fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
I was in and out of it.
It's a pretty good interview.
It's funny because everything you said, that's what I saw.
Oh, okay.
Mostly.
Okay.
So it's like I woke up and then they were talking about all
the stuff I was telling you. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So I'll show this article right here. Mom, can you pull this up real quick? So from the Daily Mail, it's the People's Movie. Here we go. Sound of Freedom, producer hails success of $14 million budget film as it moves up to second place in the box office behind Mission Impossible, having grossed $85 million.
Yes.
And people are really supporting it. There's a whole initiative on the Angel Studios website where you can go and pay it forward, where you can go and donate money so that people who can't afford to go watch the movie can use that funding to buy tickets through that, which is cool as well, because not everybody can afford. They want this message to get out there so much that people are donating to have other people have the opportunity to watch this film.
Yeah, I actually used it for somebody.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean that's what it's there for.
To get them tickets.
Yeah. Was it easy to do?
Maybe I did it wrong.
Okay.
But it seems like you can only do one ticket.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, it also depends on where you're going.
Right.
So you have to use that app and sign in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. So, and it only lets you do one ticket. I don't know if you can do like a few in a different way.
Okay.
So.
Well, at least you were able to do it and pull it off. So, we got a whole crew of about 20 people going.
Yeah.
Total.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. Hopefully, like I said, no shenanigans. We're going to be ready to post it up if they try anything. Like I've been seeing.
Yeah. What do you mean by shenanigans?
Well,
for the people.
There's been a lot of weird occurrences at a lot of theaters showing this film with like fire alarms going off mid movie, people getting their money refunded and being told that they're not showing the movie because the theater is AC is broken. There was other people that were told that they couldn't buy tickets because it was sold out, and then they went to the theater and showed that it was empty. So there's a lot of little different shenanigans going on. I think when you have one of the things that the director brought up was he said this is a literal David versus Goliath type scenario where they are a small production and they're going up against the Goliath of Hollywood, and Hollywood doesn't want anybody who doesn't go through their channels to be as successful as this movie has been. So they're gonna flex their muscles in little different ways. But I think the people are speaking louder and they're pushing back.
And you're starting to see also, I would say, the weakness of Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're starting to see the weakness of a lot of things. It's funny because this movie's called Freedom, right?
Sound of Freedom.
Well, Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it has freedom in it.
Yes.
And you can. Okay, so the freedom to live out your desires will make slaves out of people.
Mm.
Right? So you can have a freedom that you think that you're able. It's kind of like a kid.
A false freedom where there's no there's no boundaries
Yeah.
on what you can do and can't do.
Like, you can leave your parents' house, and if you have these desires in you to do things and you don't understand why you shouldn't do them,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to try to live out these desires.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have no discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what discipline is really all about, right?
Yeah.
But then, so like that leads to, why does it lead to slavery? Because it's about yourself. So not only do you put yourself in a certain type of slavery because you're a slave to your desires, but you'll start to put others in slavery, right? Because you're gonna it's technically all about control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you want to control things.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually does the opposite of what real freedom does.
Wow. That is interesting.
Yeah. So it's really an illusion of freedom,
Right.
and control.
Sounds
right?
like how the devil operates.
Definitely.
Shout
But-
out to Paul. Said, "Yo, fellas, Paul, man, we'll see you
What's up,
tomorrow
Paul?
at the
Yeah.
movie, man. We'll see you over there."
But I think that's a fear, and it's an innate fear in human nature
Mm-hmm.
that we want to control things. We want to feel like we're in control, and we take that as a freedom. If I have control, I'm free,
Yeah.
right? So even that, you can look at that as empowerment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Women's empowerment, all these things that we say. It's really, I just want the freedom to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And that's not real freedom. It's an illusion. It's actually just control.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you can control your destiny, but you can't. You can't really control. You're actually living out a lie,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're seeing how this thing is kind of breaking that control in an industry,
Mm-hmm.
which is, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, we work in the music industry,
Yeah.
and you see, like, we've been doing this for years, and the control of that industry,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
The stronghold. Yes.
So you see all these things, government control. You see what's happening in the government right now. We're going to talk about it, right?
Mhm.
All these government controls, the things that they do to other people to keep themselves in power, but also to keep themselves isolated, to keep themselves free from the laws that they want to put on other people,
Mm-hmm.
right? All these things that happen, but eventually, if people stand up, if there's people who say, we're not going to take this anymore, you know, we want the truth.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Seek the truth. Seek after the truth, right? If your heart is, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
I want the truth.
And I think that's what the powers that be are afraid of. People that want the truth. So they're constantly trying to deter you from seeking the truth.
Yeah.
They're constantly trying to make you feel like, no, you don't need nothing to see here. You got it all figured out. Just continue to live your life. Here's this shiny new thing for you to look at, and just, you know, worry about this. Here's another TV show
Right.
for
They
you.
give you desires to enslave you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, no, I don't want that. I want the truth. And it's interesting, like what Jesus says. He says, if you abide in my word, right?
Mhm.
So you have to first want what God wants, right? If you
Right.
abide in my word, you're my disciple. That's about discipline again. See,
Mhm.
that's about learning self-control.
Yeah.
Now you're learning self-control, but it's through the Spirit of God,
Right.
right? You're my disciple. You'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Now you're coming into true freedom,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're not bound by your desires anymore. Which in turn, if you're not bound by your desires, and we're learning this, right? It's a process, but as we go through life and we want to know the truth, and we see things, we see injustice, and we're fighting against these things. We're going to come up against that, and we're going to deal with these fights of faith, because it's a fight of faith. It's not a fight against these things, really, because the one who's actually going to fight for us is God.
Right.
Because how could Sound of Freedom really do what they did? And they talk about it.
Even
it's God.
they will tell you, like every interview, they're saying God did this.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. But you have to have the faith
Mm-hmm.
to say it can happen.
Right.
You have to have the faith to move and work in
Yeah.
it happening. So, and then you see how the truth prevails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I mean that's a great story of how faith can work, and I think everybody should go support this movie, like we said. But yeah, moving on to the next story. So Joe Biden had a meeting at the White House, and kind of fell asleep in mid-sentence. Hold on, let me make sure we got some audio here before I play this.
Oh.
I didn't see that.
There we go.
Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level, and Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level,
What's up, brother? James is in the building. We're sitting here watching Joe Biden fall asleep in the middle of his sentence. Yeah, but we were just got done talking about Sound of Freedom and how we're gonna go see that tomorrow. And I don't know if you know this, but it's at 85 million right now.
Sound of Freedom?
Yeah.
Wait.
Make sure you got audio there.
Whoop. I'm on the wrong. Oh. There we go.
Yeah. So James is in the building. He's here.
I'm back.
He's here. So check out this clip of your president, man. You know, he's just making us look so good on the world stage. This is actually a meeting at the White House. This just happened.
Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level, and Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level,
At least you didn't hear any snoring.
Yeah, but like you've all had those conversations with like a really old person.
Yeah.
That's like falling asleep as they're talking to you.
Yeah. Paul said interviewer dudes. It's like, yo, what do
It's like, what do I do?
Where do I look?
Yeah. He's like, do I tap him? Do I wake him up? Yeah. So, you know, that was Biden. It says he falls asleep moments ago in the middle of important meeting at the White House. Yeah. And then, I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you remember we were talking about Biden? Remember we showed that video of Biden sniffing the little baby?
Yes.
So then this video emerged this week of him. The little girl's like, "Get away from me!" Look. Why do people keep bringing their little children in his face? You know he likes to sniff and bite and stuff. Biting Biden.
I know it's crazy. He actually has a granddaughter from Hunter.
He does.
He does.
We talked about that last week. He has a granddaughter
him and
that
his
he
wife.
doesn't claim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hunter had a baby with a prostitute or a stripper. Yeah, and he wasn't acknowledging this baby. It's a little
4
girl.
years, 4 years old.
Yeah, and she had to fight for custody. I mean, for child support. She had to fight for child support, and then also had to sign the rights away for her to have the Biden name. So she's not allowed to give it the Biden name. The little girl.
Wow.
Yeah. So they made sure she signed off on that.
No sniffing for you.
Yeah. But Jake had a good point. He's like, maybe it's a good thing that she's not part of that family from his track record with his other kids and stuff.
Oh, no, I know. But
You know what I
of
mean?
course, the mom, because of the child support thing, right?
Yeah.
She has to have the name.
No, she got child support.
She got child support.
But part of the
the
settlement
agreement,
was that she has to not give the baby the name.
Now imagine all that money they probably spent on lawyers to get to pass that versus just, this child is so innocent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But hey, listen, the fact that Joe Biden doesn't acknowledge that he has another grandchild at all.
They don't even talk about it.
Yeah. It's weird. Let's take a look at him over at giving his speech over at NATO. This is in Lithuania.
The first foreign visitor. Soon NATO will be the 32nd freestanding, have 32 freestanding
Bro. Like
visitor.
I love when he like gets so confused that he just has to stop. Like it's the look on his face. Like watch
Soon
this.
NATO will be the 32nd freestanding, have 33.
He's like, oh jeez.
32 freestanding members, ceasing its attacks on its inhumane attacks on Russia, by Russia on Ukraine. May God protect the freedoms of the protectors of freedom.
And he's like, oh, which way do I go?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
So,
Yeah, America's got to humble themselves.
yep.
I think is that like what we're dealing with? Like we're being humbled
I think
as
so.
a country.
I think so. I
to know,
mean,
like,
I think America is so caught up in the idea of teams in the binary of left and right that this is how you elect someone like this, because it's like he's the guy my team is supposed to vote for, so I got to vote for him. And then I'm going to make every excuse. I will ignore all of this. I will make every excuse for how he's doing a great job.
yeah, we'll go back to freedom. You know, what does that mean
Yeah.
to most Americans? Does it mean that again you can do whatever you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he can. They find cocaine in the White House. Nothing's done about it. I just saw another story where they found marijuana in the White House multiple times. Like they keep trying to cover it up. You know, apparently, like, come on. At this point, it's like we know what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know.
Hunter's sleeping over.
But it's interesting when you want to do whatever you want, you don't want to see that
Mm-hmm.
because it's helping you do whatever you want.
Right.
Right.
Hey, maybe that's why he's falling asleep. They got rid of all the coke that was in the White House.
You need an upper.
He's like, I need my bumps. Come on, man. And then meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, we got what's going on with Trump. So breaking. President Trump announces he has received a letter from the DOJ signaling he will be arrested and indicted for January 6th. So this is the third time they're going to arrest Trump for something. The same January 6th where National Guard troops were rejected by Democrats, where undercover FBI sources and DC PD officers were in the crowd, where Pelosi secretly worked to lower security measures and also shot a documentary about it the whole time. Don't forget about that. And where they launched flashbangs and tear gas into peaceful crowds. So he released a statement saying that he got word that he's going to be arrested for January 6th now. So this is the third time they're arresting him. Clearly, they're trying to not let this guy run. And to me, it's like, it doesn't make sense for what their narrative is, where they're saying like, they're saying we'd rather run against Trump because he can easily be beaten.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, why are they trying so hard to stop him from running?
Right.
You know, you would think that they would be like telling people to we vote for Trump, like they were doing in the last election. They were secretly funding all the Trump-backed candidates. They were secretly funding Trump's campaign in 2016 because they thought he would be easily beaten. So it's weird that they're trying to arrest him now.
Yeah. Especially with the whole January 6th thing and how all this stuff has come out.
Yeah, and they still.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's going to be a nothing burger, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
again, it's going to be some BS that he has to go through, and what is the purpose behind it?
Yeah.
I
think
think
that's-
they're just trying to focus everything on Trump so they can't focus on themselves because there's so much that they've done. Corruption.
Yeah, they have so many people believing that he's already a criminal.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know the why, and I don't want to pretend to know the why. But the thing is, like, there is no good why.
Right.
Any way you look at it, like, there's no good why, because everything they're doing is obvious. Nothing comes out of it. Nothing ever comes out of it because nothing ever happened.
But in a weird way, though, I think by them doing all of this, and which they have been doing, I think it has exposed for the people who always were on the fringes of you're a conspiracy theorist. So come on, man. Come on.
The government's not doing all that.
The media, really? Come on. I think even if you are, I think you have to stop and say, since this guy ran to him being elected and the charades that's happened since he's been out of office.
Yeah.
The media has displayed a clear bias
Yeah.
in their reporting.
And I think
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, to me, when you talk about the Mar-a-Lago thing, the documents, and how the media handle, I mean, if anything, right, let's take away everything else. Documents were found at his place. He's this. The media spins it for months and weeks. Joe Biden has documents at his house.
in his garage next to the
Corvette. And you see how they spin that. Mm-hmm. You could definitely tell, like, they're out to get this guy.
I mean, there's so much stuff that's come out. You just had the IRS whistleblower, right? All these things that come out that are like so obvious, so blatant. And they're like with Trump, they're just searching. And the stuff with Biden is he was actually doing stuff with China.
Yeah.
Actually
Ukraine.
doing stuff with Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
So
his son was involved in those things.
So it's just it just blows your mind how it's becoming obvious. I think that's the thing with pride. Pride blinds you, and you don't realize how obvious you look after a while because you become so emboldened,
But I think that's why these media outlets are losing now. When you look at CNN, when you look at MSNBC, when you look at even Fox News, like these outlets are dying.
Right.
And you see people like Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, even Russell Brand, like people I have seen the evolution of how they've been awakened to a lot of this corruption, because stuff that we used to talk about back in 2009, you see them starting to talk about now, where it's like, oh, now they're seeing it. Right. I remember when I first became aware of Tim Pool when he was on Joe Rogan, and
we challenged him.
Yeah, well, he challenged him about the way he handled Jack Dorsey and whatever her name is, the Indian lady,
lawyer.
Yeah. But so I looked the guy up, and I'm like, oh, this guy is a young skateboarder, lefty guy, who just cares about politics a lot. But I kind of saw something in him where he did care about what was right and what was true. You know what I mean? Right. So watching him throughout the years, I've seen him like go from, Trump is the worst, Republicans suck, to, okay, he voted for Trump in 2020 because of the policies, and seeing how the media was coming after him, and to now he's just like, yo, these Democrats are demonic.
A lot of people,
he says all the time.
A lot of people have changed. Rob Schneider is one.
Yeah, Rob Schneider.
A couple people, Dana Carvey.
Yep.
Like a lot of them have real.
Russell Brand is another.
Russell Brand is a huge one.
Yeah, because he was a huge lefty, liberal, Yeah.
It's interesting with the Pride thing. Like, you can see how with Pride, with Trump, how the whole stuff with Fauci and the what was the thing he had? Lightyear.
Warp Speed.
Warp Speed.
Yeah. Operation Warp Speed.
Operation Warp
Buzz
Speed.
Lightyear.
That whole thing, like how he was so proud of it and toting it, like it was this amazing thing.
He still does. I mean, he kind of stopped now because it doesn't play well.
No, I mean, you need to stop. You need to humble yourself at one point, dude. It ain't working.
But he still wants to use that as a badge of honor,
right?
Except when he goes to black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's outright with it, and he's not hiding anything. He's just being him.
Yeah.
But then you have a different type of pride
Mm-hmm.
with this stuff going on where these people are being secretive and trying to get indictments on Trump and on others, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There were other whistleblowers that somehow just disappeared,
Mm-hmm.
right? Died.
Yep.
Bunch of stories about that.
Yeah.
So and that's a whole different level of pride, right? That's a whole different level of trying to protect your image, trying to protect your caricature or character, because it's really a caricature, or trying to protect your own self investment or whatever you desire, right? That's a whole different thing. So yeah, there's pride, but like, bro, that pride,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That enslaves people. And I think that's what we got to see. Like, there's different when like somebody doesn't want to see something and it's like, bro, you need to see this.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking it too far. Like when we're talking to each other, that's different. But when you are I think the word is psychotic in a way.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at
Psychosis.
psychosis, but
But what was the term? Remember when Robert Malone talked about mass formation psychosis?
yeah.
And then it started going viral on Twitter, and then all of a sudden Google like banned that term.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they were editing what it meant, and then they were editing all the posts about it, and you know, because people were it was like the most Googled term that week,
Yeah.
mass formation psychosis, which is like a phenomenon where a whole mass of people become under the same psychosis at the same time. He was
Yeah.
talking about it under the COVID thing.
But I'm saying like in terms of narcissism,
Yeah.
but even on another level, and I think a lot of these elite deal with psychopaths. Like
Yeah. I mean, think about it. When you're to reach a certain level of political prowess, like a Joe Biden, a Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, like these guys have extreme narcissistic behavior.
yeah,
You know, to the point where it is psychopathy. You know what I mean? So I think, like, in order for them to survive as long as they have, you have to be that narcissistic where it's like you can completely lie about something, get caught in that lie, but then spin it. Any no matter how people bring it to you, you're gonna spin it.
right. Because you're just so used to it.
Yep.
You become so used to it, and I can even relate, like not on that level, obviously, but just like on a very low level, like how we used to do with music and lie about your age,
Yeah.
stuff like that, like,
Yep.
and then you start to really think you're like we used to always lie like, oh, we're like 2 years younger than we were,
Right.
but then you start to really think that you're that age because you're saying it over
Yep.
and over again.
Mhm.
It's like little things like that, like little things you do in the industry that are the norm.
Yeah.
That you're like,
And are those people themselves, some of them, not all of them, some of them are aware of what they're doing, are those people themselves victim of the lust for power, where they almost believe what they're telling, but the people who control them,
Yeah.
know their hangups, know their shortcomings. I mean, they're making money, but they really don't have, any power per se without their handlers. You know what I mean?
Well, that's where the Jeffrey Epstein saga and all these type of things
How
tie
does
in.
it tie in? Yeah.
Because there's a reason why most of these politicians were on that island. There's a reason why most of them are mixed up with cats like that, because it's almost like they have to get you compromised.
Right. And won't speak out because they themselves are compromised.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because that way you will do their bidding without ever talking about what's really going on behind the scenes. And that's why a movie like Sound of Freedom, they're desperately trying to demonize it, even though it's doing well on its own without the help of the media.
Yeah.
They're desperately trying to demonize it because they don't want people looking behind that curtain at all. Even if it's just like
they don't even want
they don't even want you looking in the direction of the curtain.
Right.
Don't even know that curtain exists.
Right.
Please don't
huge
even
problem,
like just ignore it.
but if you think about it, if, like, I think narcissism and like that's like psychopath type mentality is
Yeah.
all about self-interest, right? Self-survival, but also like living out your desire, like 100%.
Right.
Whatever I desire, and whatever gets in the way of that, you're just trying to figure out how to deal with it, right? So, but then you become easily controlled.
Yeah.
But you become easily controlled by those who are smarter than you in how to control you, because you in order to be a narcissist, you have to be able to control others,
Yeah.
right?
And you have to believe that you should control others
Yeah,
because
to
they're
be
not on your level.
Right.
That's the Edward Bernays playbook. For people that don't know who that is, he was Sigmund Freud's nephew who kind of created the entire marketing industry that we know today and the propaganda industry. But one of the things that he believed, and a lot of people in his circles believed, was that there was a certain class of people that needed to be the decision makers for the masses, because the masses were not smart enough to know what's best for them.
Right.
So they were narcissistic in the way where it was like their pride was to the level where, no, we need to tell them what to do. They're just sheep. They really see you that way. Let me shout out Theris real quick, who's in the chat. She said it was a great movie, very sad. We're gonna watch it tomorrow, so next week we will do a full review, probably with some spoilers of Sound of Freedom. But I'm looking forward to watching it with Paul. Paul, another young lion, is gonna be there. Courtney, another young lion, is gonna be there with us, and Jess will be there, and a bunch of people. Peace. All of our Young Lion Pride will be joining together to go watch this movie. So shout out to people in the chat. Make sure you guys share this video and hit the like button as well while we're watching. We got 21 people watching right now. Let's get the likes up, please. If you're on YouTube, hit the share button, please.
But isn't it kind of crazy that they're talking about this movie that is supposed to be a true story, but yet all the news media are saying it's a conspiracy theory? So wouldn't people think, aren't they concerned about children? That should be the most important thing.
Well, because they want to make it about the QAnon thing to divert
But
your
forget
attention.
about the QAnon. This is about children being trafficked.
You would think they would care, but yeah.
You think that the news media would say, you know what, let's look into this. But no, they're saying it's conspiracy. No, it's not true.
But that's what they don't want to. You think the news media is going to look like? Remember when the hot mic of, what was the chick from ABC?
I remember her talking.
What's her name? You remember her name?
I don't remember her name.
The hot mic of when they were filming
Jeffrey Epstein story.
They were doing her hair, and she was talking about how she had the Jeffrey Epstein story for years. She said, matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can find it. But she talked about how this is when he got arrested this final time. She was saying, like, man, I had this story. I had interviews. I had the Clintons. I had all this stuff ready to go out, and they killed it. They didn't want to release it. She's talking about ABC. And then this leaked, you know what I mean? Why would they not want to put that story out there about this guy who is sex trafficking underage girls and tied to all these politicians? Amy Robach. Yeah, thanks, Moan. Yeah, that's who it was. Let me see if I can find this clip while we talk about that. But yeah, Amy Robach.
Yeah, because once again, you don't want people even looking in that direction. You want them to be distracted. You want them to be distracted by their own desires. That's why every morning show, every news morning show is telling you the 7 top ways to drink better coffee.
Yeah.
Some stupid thing. They're not giving you anything of actual substance because they want you to keep running in circles.
Yep.
Right? They're giving you just stuff to keep you in a loop.
So here's the clip real quick, just for those who don't know what we're talking about.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is.
No one knows
who
that.
Story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways.
So that's another thing that they do. Another tactic is, okay, if you run this story, you'll lose access to certain thing, whatever the thing is, whatever my leverage is, you lose access. And
that's coming from above.
So there's so many things that these companies rely on their access that they've been granted. And you're only granted access. Think about it. It's just like a fraternity. We were talking about this earlier. It's like a fraternity. It's like a secret society. You're granted access based off of what you're willing to compromise or what you're allowed to be hazed on.
Right.
So if you go back on that, you totally are cut off. So she's saying that, Prince Andrew was tied to this story. We all know this because of the interviews that came out later and the ways he implicated himself and the pictures of him on Epstein Island with Virginia Roberts. But the palace told ABC that if you run this story, you won't get access to Kate and Will, because this was when they were having their big wedding and all of that. Remember? So everyone needed access to that. But this is what they do. This is what they do. This is what Hollywood does. Oh, if you wanna make this movie, you'll never work in this business again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
why does it even matter? Because there's a desire there.
Yes.
They've
So
been
that's what
throwing
they're
these
they're
things.
using your own desires
Right.
as the weapon against you.
We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all.
Yeah, so this is the clip that went viral. Someone who works for ABC leaked it to Project Veritas at the time, and they put it out. So now, if you read between the lines there, and for someone who is a career woman and who cares about her success level, what she's upset about is the fact that she wanted to be the first one to break that story because it was going to blow her up.
Yep.
She would have been Barbara Walters 2.0. You know what I mean? So that's what she's mad about.
She got
right. So she's mad that it's coming out after the fact,
Yep.
and she didn't get to be the one to break that story because her career would have been skyrocketed. But so just this one point. So, but she doesn't care about what was really. She's not mad because she wants justice for these people, for Virginia Roberts. So that's why
I want to be the one with the bullhorn.
That's why when this video got leaked, she totally backpedaled, and they could say, "Hey, you better release a statement and go back on what you said here, or else that's it for your career. And if your career is more important than justice, you're gonna."
And that's your answer right there.
Yep.
Why when you asked earlier, why aren't these news anchors and these news stations not doing anything about these little kids? Is their career and their money is more important, their social status. It was funny, he was saying, well, not funny, but he was saying pride, right? But to follow that through, pride cometh before the fall.
Yep.
So what we're watching is the media, American media, has built itself on that, on pride.
Yep.
And we've turned politics, we've turned all these things into a spectacle. And what we're watching is the fall of that. We're watching them fall apart.
Yep.
And we're watching inconsistencies. And now, albeit a lot of it has to do with technology and people being able to access this. Because if we didn't have access to technology, there's no way for us to verify. We may have a feeling, we have indication, but we don't know without the technology. And like you said, even in that moment, she's grandstanding. But if you could read between the lines, she's grandstanding because she wants to be the person who breaks the story because it's going to take her career to the next level. It's not because of the love or the justice for the children or what's happening on that place.
Because if it really was, she would have released that story on her own without.
Right.
She wouldn't have cared. She would have risked everything to release that story.
That's why it's. And you're saying it like, right, out of the heart the mouth speaks, or you're seeing what's in her heart, right? You're seeing her intentions. You're seeing her motivation, right? That's what's important, because by the motivation, you'll know the spirit of where they're coming from. And I think like a lot of people want knowledge, and then people think that knowledge is important. You know, did you know about this?
Yeah.
Did you know this? And knowledge without God is just disorder. It's just unclean.
Yep.
You're not gonna know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, yeah, did you know about this? Did you find out about this? Let me tell you about this tea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me
Like,
give you the tea.
let me give you the tea. But then, okay, now what? You have to know what to do with that knowledge. You know, God says, he desires the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the knowledge of God is so important. We need the knowledge of God. You can't get the knowledge of God without fearing God.
Right.
So when you have the knowledge, like, think about it. If you find out somebody did something, most people will just straight villainize them in a way where they have no type. They'll look at them and judge them, and condemn them to where it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with you completely. You're dead to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how God looks at us. Like, we're talking about all this stuff. God doesn't look at it like that. We can see things and we could say, yeah, that's wrong, and this shouldn't happen, and what they did was completely, utterly wrong, right? But at the same time, there's still hope for them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you don't see that without the knowledge of God.
Right.
So there's a humility even in when you receive knowledge, that you have to fear God enough to not just run with it and then just look at people like they're monsters and they're horrible. Yeah, they might be monsters, but there's still a human part of them that God can redeem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's hard to do.
It is.
Moan said ABC News, aka Disney. Yeah, that's another prime reason right there. Look at Sound of Freedom again.
Mm-hmm.
Sound of Freedom was originally owned by Disney,
right,
by default, because Disney bought Fox.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they bought Fox owned the movie.
Right.
Disney bought it and then totally shelved it and said they didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So then that's what forced the director to go out and try to find another way to release it. Nobody wanted to touch it. But so now Disney released that. And think about the serendipity of that, how Disney releases a movie the same day on July 4th, and Sound of Freedom beats it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to point out something too, you know, I think as we're talking about all of this here, I feel like a big lesson in all of this for us as human beings too is what is in us that they feel that I don't want to ruin ABC as a company. I don't want to ruin the Kate and William
Will
interview.
Yeah.
Because what does it say, right? It really speaks to what we have been tuned to like.
Yeah.
So they know that that's going to bring ratings.
What's going to bring more
What's
ratings?
going to bring ratings?
The Epstein story
The
or
Epstein
the Will
story?
and Kate wedding?
So by them, the people who are the anchors who may have had the stories, because maybe she wanted to blow up, or maybe there are people who really wanted this to come out, but the corporate heads are like, we need this Kate and William story to blow up over the summer, and we need these interviews to whatever it is. Maybe something that speaks to us and what we're consuming, that's more important than
It's desire.
You know what I mean? So they're feeding us what we want,
Right.
which is the Kate and William story. They're getting married like we've never seen married before. These people are not even in this country.
They have nothing to do with
Nothing
us.
to do with us. So maybe
Yeah.
it's something deep in us that we need to stop and say, hey, wait, kids are being kidnapped and sex trafficked.
But I gotta see The Bachelor.
But I
gotta watch seasons 37 of The Bachelor.
Right.
It's so important.
Because it's gonna change my life.
Yeah.
Right. So there's something that's in us, and that's what I think we're trying to say here is that all of these desires, all these things, pride being one of them, your inner desire, all of those things. Do you care more about that? Because you may look at them with disdain, but you're participating in this thing where you're self-absorbed with sports.
Right.
You're self-absorbed. And these same companies that are telling you, hey, don't look at this. They're presenting you with something else in lieu of truth, in lieu of
It's a false
truth.
comfort.
So the real question is: are we ready to part ways with people and companies that align themselves? And this is what they do, and all they do is give you trinkets and hide things from you. And that's just what I see here. Is I feel like the real question is: what are we willing to give up for truth?
Right. That is a valid question right there, man.
What are we willing to give up for God?
Yeah.
What are we?
I mean, God is truth, right?
Are we serving ourselves? Mm-hmm. And then being actually controlled? We think we're free. Again, let's go back to freedom. We think we're free. We do whatever we want. We're actually controlled. Yeah. Right? Well, I don't know if we talked. I think we talked about this at church. Preferences, right? People just think, oh, no, I just prefer this.
Yeah,
I just prefer that. But at the base of that preference is the actual meaning why you prefer it. It didn't just happen, but we just like, no, I just like that. I just like this thing over here. I just like that. No, you're creating your life. You're cultivating your life.
Yeah,
and a lot of times you're not even conscious of it.
Yeah, you don't even ask yourself why you like this or why you like that.
And when you detach yourself from those desires, that's where you have a clearer line of sight, and truth leads to God. Because now you're more you become, instead of being obsessed with the story, you want authenticity, and the truth leads to God, leads to Jesus. Because if you're just more in tune to the entertainment, it doesn't matter. Anything can entertain you after a while because you're just tuning in to watch it. It's like fireworks.
Yep,
we've seen it a million times, and we just want to see it over and over again. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I didn't take my kids to see fireworks this 4th of July.
Me either.
And I'm like, they were a little upset. I'm like, I just took them like a couple weeks before. I'm like, you just saw them. It's not going to change your life.
Right.
Like,
you know what fireworks look like.
And then it's like, okay. Like, they get over it quick.
Yeah.
But if you harp on that and you're like, oh, maybe I should have. It's 4th of July. Like,
if you make it a thing.
Yeah. I actually had, when Liz went to South Carolina, I had her stop and get like one pack of like the cool ones for the kids, and we just shot them out right out front. That was enough. They're done. You know what I mean? They filmed it. They never saw fireworks shot off that close to them, so they were like, wow, and that's it. It's over.
Yeah. But again, why are we have to ask these questions. Like, when you look at, again, go back to the Will and Kate thing, is that going to change your life? No.
Is that going to change?
Is it going to change other people's lives? Is it going to have a major effect on
what
people?
effect on culture does it have? Does it affect our children, our future? No.
Yeah. But is it touching vulnerable people? No. Maybe in a superficial way where they'll go after that and go to these places.
I think it has the opposite effect, because what it does is
it makes you more selfish.
But
right?
think about, what was the follow up to Will and Kate that we're dealing with now?
Right.
What was the follow up?
Sex trafficking?
No.
Oh,
Meghan Markle and Harry.
That's what you were talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the follow up.
Right.
So it's like now it's even more narcissistic, more sensational, more over the top. And look at them. They're becoming they're really affecting culture.
Yeah. Right. And that's my point. My point is, we're feeding the monster because we're lending eyes and ears and minds to this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're consuming it too.
But does it have to do with men accepting these things? Like, are men, because if you look at this story, Sound of Freedom, like this is men who are skilled and trained to be able to handle these things, go out and handle it. When you like, that story doesn't matter, Will and Kate, but then when you look at the Epstein stuff, people don't want to look at it because they got to handle it. They got to deal with it.
That's a good point, They can't.
You know what I mean? They don't want to look at it because now they're confronted with, I have a responsibility.
There's
I don't want
to real danger in the world.
I can't pretend I don't know.
I don't want to have that responsibility. I want to stay in my irresponsible life, right? Where everything is given to me and I can just live like I'm free, but I'm actually not. And
that's also why people don't want to look at what's going on with the government and what's going on with the lies.
That's a big part,
because they don't want to be confronted with the reality that everything is, an illusion.
Yeah. Here's another one for responsibility. America is #1 consumer of child porn.
Yep.
Wow.
Right? So that should be alarming to us.
Yeah.
And we should be wanting to take responsibility for that.
Right.
As a country.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't hear that talked about.
Right.
That much. So I think as men, truly as men, I mean, as human beings, period, but as men, we're supposed to say, no, we're not
Yeah.
dealing with that. We're not going to just look at that. We got to deal with this.
Yes.
We got to handle this. We're not having that.
But they don't want us to. When you look at a lot of a lot of these people that are tied to the regulations, dude, look at this. Look at in California. All right. I was going to show this. This goes right into what you're saying. So in California, bunch of headlines from California, right? This was from July 11th. California Assembly Committee blocks a bill that could have sent human traffickers of kids to prison for life.
Yeah, I saw this.
They blocked that bill, right? That's one. Okay. June 10th. Newly amended California bill could punish parents refusing to affirm child's gender identity. We talked about that on here before, right? This is what they're doing. Okay, on the other end of that. Another one, Governor Newsom, this is July 12th. Governor Newsom signs a controversial bill into law reducing penalties for sexual relations with minors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you look at this bill, it's only for man on boy.
Wow.
California, July 1st, California moves forward with a bill to become sanctuary state for kids to undergo transgender treatment. So when you don't have men that will push back and say, we're not going to stand for this, you get stuff like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what you're getting is a state of slavery.
Yeah.
That's what it'll turn into.
Mm-hmm.
It's a state of slavery. I want to fulfill my desires. And the people who are at the top are going to make sure it happens. That's why you're getting these legislative bills passed. But then the ones that seem obvious, they don't get passed.
Yeah.
Because it's about desire.
Yeah.
There's a scripture I wanted to read because it's connected to all this. And I think, before I read it, I think that a lot of times the issue is men want to please women.
Yeah.
So they want to please them and they want to give them this false comfort for the short term, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll watch what was the show he just said?
Bachelor.
Bachelor. I watched The Bachelor with you.
Yeah.
You know, they want to give them a short term pleasure.
Yeah.
Right. But the long term pleasure is what people don't really take into account.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's gonna please you and your family generations to come. Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of people they're just looking to please themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So and men, they really I'm saying they want to please women, but really because they want to please themselves.
Yeah, right.
So I'm putting it back on men.
They know that I'm racking up that scorecard.
If I do this,
so I can get some when it's time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they know that. Yeah, you're right.
So that it's your week because you don't stand for anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna bend because of your desire.
Yeah.
Right. But when you put true values before that, they supersede your desires.
And it's also the sign of an out of order marriage. If you don't do things in the order of God, if you don't have that foundation and the principles of God, the biblical principles in your marriage, then you have to play these little games with each other because you don't have the foundation of a wife knows her duty to her husband, and she will weaponize her private parts on you. You know what I'm saying? And a man will try to play that game so he can get those brownie points so she won't weaponize it. You know, so it becomes this dance because your whole marriage is out of order.
And it's all manipulation.
If you look, it is.
It's all, which is witchcraft, right? It's sorcery.
It's
in
evil.
the end.
It's evil.
Because you're always trying to lie and make it look like something. You're lying to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you're saying, no, I love my wife. But you're loving your wife in your own way.
Yeah.
It's not a greater love will cover even when people don't want it. Like you're covering, your kids don't want to, they want to do what they want to do, but you tell them no because you love them. It's a greater love.
Yeah.
Right? You do that. That's a love that transcends time. Right? So listen to this.
Before you read it, though, let me just
Okay.
shout. Emma just said greetings, guys. Shout out to Emma.
What's
Hey,
up,
man,
Emma?
if you want to come watch Sound of Freedom with us tomorrow night, we'll be at the AMC Cherry Hill, 7 p.m. You can come see it with the whole gang.
Okay, so 2 Timothy 3. I know you guys heard this a lot, but when you hear like what is going on in here, it's so clear. But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty. For people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control,
Wow.
brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying the power. Avoid such people, for among them are those who creep into houses and capture weak women, burdened with sin and led astray by various passions, always learning but never able to arrive at the knowledge of the truth.
Yeah.
So everything we were talking about, right?
You know what's crazy? You were playing that video yesterday where the dude was talking about the black church.
Oh, yep.
He was talking about the issues in the black church. He referenced him.
Yeah.
He referenced that verse
Very
right
true.
there.
And it says, just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses. These are two sorcerers, right? We're talking about witchcraft, sorcery, manipulation.
Wizardry.
These were sorcerers that opposed Moses. You know, they threw down the staff, turned into a snake.
Yep.
Then they said, oh, we can do the same
We
thing.
can do the same,
Moses ate up their staff, right? It says, so these men, Jannes and Jambres, opposed Moses. So these men also opposed the truth. Men corrupted in mind and disqualified regarding the faith. But they will not get very far, for their folly will be plain to all, as was that of those two men. So what happens is, these things are going to fall apart. These things are going to be exposed. And this is this is what we're seeing.
Sorry.
What end of it are we going to be on? Are we going to succumb to, well, it's all right. People, you got to be tolerant, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to be tolerant of the things that are wicked? Are you going to be tolerant of the things that are evil? Can you even discern what's evil? Because in the world we live in, we call good evil and evil good now, right?
Yeah.
You think things are good that are literally evil. But we can't see it. Why? Because we are pushed, or we move along by our own desires, by what we want to fulfill. So how can I judge somebody else when I don't want to judge myself, right?
Yeah.
It does. But when you want to know the truth and you put that first, you put that beyond yourself,
Yeah.
right? When you want to actually love somebody in the way that's going to be beneficial for everyone, and you're not looking at, no, I'm going to love them in the way I love them. No, I want to love you the way it'll benefit you, right? When I'm looking at my way, I don't want to love you in my own way. So if I don't want to love you in my own way, I need a greater love.
Right.
I can't look at myself and think, I'm going to love you my way and that's it. No, it's not going to do anything for you. Every time I try to love my wife my own way, there's always caveats there, right? There's always, I love you, but don't do that. I love you, but a greater love will always go further.
But
right?
think about that's such the opposite of what people are being taught now. I mean, what is the modern state of psychotherapy, psychology? People are always throwing these terms around. What do you hear all the time when it comes to love? What's the new terminology that everyone is using?
You tell me.
Love language.
Yeah.
What is love language about? Love language is about how I need to be loved.
Yeah.
It's narcissistic again.
Yeah.
So it's about you need to love me the way I want to be loved.
Right.
And I now love you the way that you need to be loved.
Yeah.
Can I add to that
Yes.
too? I would say this, right? So, especially in marriage, right? With men, speaking of weakness and desire. So for people to understand why sometimes infidelity happens. Say you're a woman, right? And you want your husband to watch these shows with you. And he doesn't want to watch it. So you wax cold for him because he doesn't desire the things you desire.
Yeah.
So in order for him to get you physically, if he starts liking these shows, then you become more available. So you're trading entertainment for his affection. So if you watch these shows with me, maybe you'll get lucky later. So him not standing up saying, hey, listen, these things, I don't like it, and here's why. He can't break it down. So he just sits there and he ends up watching because he knows that if I don't watch this, then I can't touch her tonight. And I don't. So she feels like, thank you. That's all I wanted was just to watch the show with you.
Yeah.
So now he knows, this man knows, okay, if I do this, she'll give me this. Well, there's going to come a time if he puts himself into certain situations where some woman may offer that very thing that you trade with him for. And because he can't discern and distinct what true love is, he looks at it as, this is just available.
Right.
So for you, you would say, how could you cheat on me? I loved you. But you've been bartering sex with him off of the premise that if you do this for me, I will give you this.
Yeah.
You're not physically saying, but it's kind of like it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So when you say to him, how could you cheat on me? You've been bartering your sexuality with him.
Yeah.
And that's so to him, it's just available. I'm not saying it's right. It's a part of what happens when you barter that. Same thing with a man. You stand for nothing. You're not a leader. So she knows that you can't explain why you don't want her watching this stuff. Why you don't want her going out with her friends late at night or doing certain things. Why you don't want her hanging around single girlfriends. You can't explain. You're just yelling and screaming at her. And you give her something to watch, and you don't sit down with her. Let's pray together.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Let's build together. I don't know. I feel something is wrong. I want to learn this with you. Let's go over this.
Or you just constantly try to appease her at every turn, and then she loses respect for you.
She loses respect for you.
And now all of a sudden you're like, man, why did she sleep with that dude?
Why did she sleep with that dude?
You know?
But so my thing for the female audience member is that why when men people always say, well, why did he cheat? We see it all the time when they ask questions like Halle Berry or Beyonce. Why? They're so beautiful. You don't know the inner workings of those marriages.
Yep.
You don't understand that. And a lot of times, like I said, I'm not saying I don't know anything about these people. I'm just saying that a lot of times women will do that. They'll be like, you don't do what I want, I'm not going to do what you want. Men do it too.
Yeah.
But when it becomes available, that's how men are, because men are weak in that sense. So the love for their wife isn't a biblical love. It's just a physical love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They care about her.
My dad used to say something to me all the time. I mean, it was kind of insightful, but kind of like, off in a way. But he used to always say, like, he was like, son, remember this. No matter how fine a woman is, there's someone somewhere who's tired of her ass. Like, that's what he would always say. But so it always gave me perspective with women. Like, yeah, they might be beautiful, but what's their attitude like? What do they? How do they interact? What do they?
Right.
And it made me pay attention more to those things, even though it's kind of like
there's an obscure verse in Zechariah, and it says, "And there shall no longer be Canaanites in the house of the Lord," and that Canaanite means like a trader,
a merchant,
right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm just thinking about that, like what's transactional, right?
If your relationship is transactional,
Yeah.
you're serving that Canaanite God,
right? And even Jesus said, "You make my house a den of robbers,"
yeah.
right? And
we were just talking about that.
So it's the mindset. Like, what are you doing? They were selling in.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, you want to worship, you have to do this.
It's transactional.
Right? So you think about
what is it
like,
now, though? What is it now? It's transactional.
Yeah. Well, and what is worship? Worship is service, right? So if I'm gonna serve you, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna serve you, but I'm serving you because I worship God.
Yeah.
Right. So I serve my wife because I worship God. If I do it in the wrong way, I'm gonna serve my wife.
That's what Adam did.
I'm going to worship my wife.
That's what Adam did. Yeah.
Right? So now it's out of order. Right? Because I want to please you. I don't want to please God. I want to please you.
And she'll pick up on it too.
So now it becomes, she's got a control over me.
Right.
And it becomes transactional.
Right.
That's why you can't let Canaanites or and what did even go to Canaanites? What did they do? They took a spot that wasn't theirs. They took the land of Canaan, right? But it wasn't the land of Canaan. It was actually given to Shem, right? But they went and said, no, this is ours. We're going to implant ourselves in this place, right? So there's something to that in terms of if we view things as transactional, we take away, we give power to something else, right?
Yeah.
Instead of giving it to God. And if we don't give it to God, then God can't work in that, right? God can't work in your marriage if you give power over to, well, if I do this for you, you're going to do this for me.
Yeah.
You just took God out of it.
Right. You totally remove God.
But when you say, when you take that out, I'm like, no, this is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not doing something for you so you can do it for me.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for you because I love you
Right.
and I serve you because I serve him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think men have to take that back.
That's what
right?
where men fall apart.
Yeah.
That's where men fall apart right there.
Yeah.
We and then what happens is you try to please your wife and you try to enter into this transaction. Transaction is not a covenant. Right? A contract. That's like a contract.
Yeah.
That's transactional, right?
Yeah.
But a covenant is not transactional.
Yeah.
The covenant you make with God is not transactional. He's the one that says, I'm going to do this for you. Right? And now you have to do this for me. It's not transactional. He says, I'm going to do this for you to show you I love you.
Yeah.
Therefore, do this for me to show you you love
Right.
me. Obey me. Right?
You talked
Trust
about it
me.
at church, how it's like you with your kids. Like we do things for our kids because it's our duty. It's the covenant that we have as fathers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your kids can't do anything for you.
Yeah.
There is no transactional that they can't do anything.
No. God does it because he loves us.
Right.
Jesus did it because he loves us. The new covenant is based off of Jesus dying because he loved
Right.
us.
It's almost silly when they try to think they're doing something for you, right?
Right.
When you watch them, they and they come over to you like, "Daddy, I helped you with this. I made this for you." Like, you're like, "Wow, thank you." You know,
Right.
But it's really silly, and that's how God sees it. When it's like we think I'm doing this for God. You know what I mean?
So when we act like that in our marriage, we just gave power over to the wrong thing. And now our wife is looking like, yeah, I got control over you.
Yeah.
Because you gave her control.
Yeah.
Let me get some comments. Simone said, disgusting. I get angry hearing that. Lord help us. I think he was talking about the California stuff. Brendan Lennon, what up, Brendan? He said, hey, guys, how we doing? We're doing good, man. Just doing our thing.
I saw Brendan at work. He was in Wild Wild.
Oh, you saw him in Wawa? Yeah. And then Mon said, oh, he was answering my when I said dad's saying. He said, she's getting on someone's nerves somewhere. Yeah, that's what he used to say. He said, oh, Mr. Ebbs. Yeah, man. My dad was full of sayings, bro.
Yeah, it was funny.
Full of them. All right, let's keep it moving. So I wanted to show a little clip that went viral of we showed the president falling asleep. Let's show the vice president kind of doing a little Freudian slip, letting the truth sleep. Did you see this?
I saw this one.
Yeah.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
First of all, why is she talking like that? Clean water.
But the funny
What did
thing
she
is,
just say?
Let's play it again.
When we invest in
Listen to the
clean
ad,
energy
clapping.
and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
How do they just say these
Population,
things? Like,
bro.
Wait. How do we get to reduce what?
And you know what's funny is like, again, the media trying to cover said, oh no, she said pollution. No. Tell me what you heard here.
Water. When we reduce population and reduce population and reduce population,
Did y'all say here pollution?
Yeah.
And if she meant to say it, the truth came out.
That's how I said it. It's a
Freudian
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the people are clapping.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that was probably 2 of her staff members clapping.
Oh my God.
Because it was so silent after that. You know, you see, we know this trick from Hollywood from
Yeah.
being in those buildings. Like
Yep.
when we did MTV, they had these people called wranglers in the audience.
Yeah, to hype them up.
Yeah, they're literally there to get because people are such followers.
Yeah.
People are followers and they know it.
Yeah.
So they have 1 or 2 people that are in the audience. They're staff members of the studio. And what they do is, Whoopi Goldberg says something dumb and they go, woo! And everyone follows. You know what I mean? Like this, it's just what they do.
They want to be a part of it. Yeah.
People want to join in. So they're like, we're clapping.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Says something real stupid, but to her, she thinks she's saying something profound.
Right. So they do that. So then it gives. So then what does that do? That gives you the impression watching at home, like, oh, everyone agrees with Whoopi. I guess I better agree.
I better
you know
not.
what I mean? But let's keep.
Sometimes, dude, like certain thing, I gotta rewind back. Like, wait, what? I don't even understand what they were clapping about.
Yeah. So she wants to reduce population. Let's listen to the vice president explain what artificial intelligence is.
Hit it.
Saw that one.
And I think the first part of this issue that should be articulated is AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in, what then will be produced in terms of decisions and opinions that may be made through that process. And I think...
Huh? What is she talking about, bro?
Between her and Biden, this is just sad.
Bro, come on. Did y'all learn something there about AI?
No.
Except for the fact that it's 2 letters that stand for artificial intelligence, and it's about, the machine is learning something, and it's about,
I think they give her something to say that's exactly what's supposed to be said. She looks at it and she's like, I'm gonna wing it. And she just goes off.
she's like, I got this, guys.
I know
Push
what
that
it
script
is.
aside. I'm actually well versed in artificial intelligence.
You're not.
So I want to get your guys' reaction to this because I think this has, this is a Gen Z phenomenon on TikTok. We kind of saw it. John sent us a video one time, of someone doing this. There's this phenomenon where people are pretending to be AI on TikTok. Have you guys seen this?
Mm-mm.
And they have people in the live stream that just donate to them. I'm going to show you guys a little compilation of some of this. It's such strange behavior.
Guys, thank you all for the likes. I appreciate it. The roses. 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 Please. I like chicken. Hello, I'm AI.
Rebooting. System rebooting.
Thank you for your...
GG. Thank you for the share.
Live. Queen Slang. Hi, Zaza. Guys, thank you all for the likes.
Have you guys seen this?
No.
Like people learning the mannerisms of like
a
game character, and pretending to be a character. They dress up, and then they just do live streams and they get donations or whatever. It's like this another way of doing e-girl stuff, I guess. But to me, all I see is the in between, like this, the transition step before some dude just creates an AI that can do that, and he can make all the money. Like there's going to be a battle for who can create eventually, because when you think about it, there's an audience for this. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of guys that are sitting there watching this, donating to it, and pretending that and falling in love with these girls.
But again, to what end? Like, we're going to have a generation of guys that are unproductive in every way.
But that's what I'm saying.
And are only led by their desires.
It's already...
Like, this is what's happening.
It's already being pushed towards that direction. And what I'm saying is once it becomes full-on AI, like right now, these are girls doing it. it's gonna be a software developer creating the AI that just does that. We showed the AI girlfriend thing. There's people that what's so funny? Oh, mom's not switching the cameras. We saw the AI girlfriend thing. We saw the AI chatbot thing where people are having these chatbot girlfriends where they talk to this person every day. They text them like it's their real girlfriend, and then like there's literal what's it called when you have troubleshooting tech what's it called, tech repair or whatever, where people will hit up the tech repair and be like, my AI girlfriend is not responding to me the way she used to. She's getting too used to me, like stuff like that. She's not being affectionate. Like these people sit there and
That's crazy, sad.
Yeah.
The implications, man.
Right. But it's not just the boys. These girls are only doing that for the money and the attention too. So
But they're going to be replaced.
They're going to, but in real life, there's going to be places that are going to pop up where girls are dressed and behaving like that because the guys are so attracted to the caricatures.
Yeah.
Like in Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
They almost become like a cosplay kind of thing. Like the furry movement or whatever that is. It's like,
Well, you see, like a lot of them are dressed like elves or like,
Yeah, exactly.
because these guys they sit on the computer playing World of Warcraft for 18 hours a day. You know what I mean? And think about it. You don't think they fantasize about the little elf characters on there, bro? Yeah, it's what was the movie? Was it Idiocracy where dude was having sex with the virtual reality girl? I think it was Idiocracy.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of AI and robots and Black Mirror and all that good stuff, just wanted to show you guys what I found on Twitter. Remember the episode of Black Mirror where the little robot dog was chasing down the guy trying to kill him? What do you think?
Crazy.
What do you think? What do you think they're gonna roll these out anytime soon? Implications, war, policing, martial law. What do you think?
eventually.
I mean, yeah, I said it's gonna get dark.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna get dark, but we have to have faith.
Yeah, but they're doing that, and then they're trying to take our guns away.
Yeah. But why do you think?
Well, you
that
can't
is?
reason with a robot.
Nope. Remember we were
can't
showing
plead.
that.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate was talking about that.
No,
Like,
I'm
there is no
saying-
pleading with a robot.
That's what I'm saying. They're getting these robots with guns, but then they're
Yeah.
trying to take our guns.
That's
away.
what's so frustrating. Like if you guys ever, trying to get through to any customer service,
Yeah.
anything, because you're talking to these
robots,
and
Yeah.
you can't get through, and they can't answer your questions, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't care.
Yeah.
And then they give you these generic answers.
Well, what they'll do in a scenario like this is they'll introduce some crazy lunatic,
Yeah.
and they'll have the robot
Yeah,
save.
it'll be on TV.
Yeah, it'll be some crazy on the fringe
Yeah.
guy in the woods wants to kill everybody,
Right.
And the robot
Trump supporter. He has
it'll
two MAGA hats on.
It'll
at the
be
same
some
time.
guy with some goggles in a
Yeah.
mall, and I was there, and then I heard, so I
Yeah.
took my robot dog here with the gun on him,
Yeah.
and he dispatched it, and they'll be like, "We'd love to."
Yeah.
And it'll be the robot saves the day. Everybody's gonna
Or
clap.
they'll say it saves lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
Isn't that how they rolled out RoboCop?
So you can save
Probably.
robot. Yeah, that's what
I
they'll
don't
do.
remember.
But to me, it's more like Black Mirror. Like, remember Black Mirror was the Robo Dog. I think it was like they were just assigned to kill people, any life form or something happened like that, and then they go dormant, But once it comes across another human life, then it wakes up and it just won't stop until you're dead.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing you could do.
Yep.
It's just one objective is to kill you.
Right.
You know.
It's getting really bad. Like when you have to call.
That actually, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying it's getting really bad when you have to call like a company or something. I had to call the mortgage company. They told me 15-minute wait. I literally waited an hour and something just to get somebody to answer the phone. It's just horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I had to call Comcast because there's 2 lines that are down around my house. I don't have Comcast. So that makes it worse. There's no way to get through.
Yeah.
So I gotta say new customer.
Yeah.
Like you have to like trick the
system to let you through.
Then finally they let me through to somebody.
Gotta hack the AI.
You have to talk like hi, I'm Jake. I'm looking for some service. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
You have to trick it.
I want to buy 20 lines for my business. Hello.
Hey,
Yeah.
I would like to order 2,000 UFC programs. Right here, man. I was about to say that Kamala Harris, that dog did more explanation of what AI than just play the video.
Yeah. That's gonna be Kamala Harris's new tool. They're just gonna like, all right, just play a video. I have a video to show you.
While she's talking and she's doing it, but they can't hear her.
Yeah.
They show you the
Oh man! So I want to show this clip too because we were showing all those news articles from what Gavin Newsom is up to in California. Meanwhile, this is a Walgreens in San Francisco. Everything is padlocked, chained shut. Everything.
Wow.
The entire store, bro.
Thank you, liberals.
Because we'll let you we'll let you have sex with a minor, but we'll also let you steal everything you want. You know what I'm saying? Like this, where is the focus here?
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're passing bills so that people can have sex with minors, but you're not prosecuting criminals that are shoplifting.
Yeah. You're not upholding anything. You're being too tolerant.
Yeah.
Right. And we can't even be that's the thing too. Is like when you see all them kids looting and they're doing something wrong, the focus becomes on them and not the politicians.
Yep.
Because all I see people like these days, and they're going off. I'm like, listen, that's a symptom of a problem.
I mean, even we should have never let the politicians in that much.
Yeah.
We should be handling our own stuff.
Yep.
We should on a community level.
Yeah.
Like those Iranians.
Yep.
They went down.
They
there.
don't play. Simone said, "Unleash them." You're talking about the dogs. Unleash them on the people trafficking these kids.
Armenians. You mean Armenians?
Armenians. Yeah. That's what he meant.
But I because Patrick Bet David, he's Armenian, but
and Iranian.
He grew up in Iran.
He's both, I think.
He's both.
Yeah.
Okay. But he grew up in Iran.
Yeah. Paul said, "Pollute the population." Yeah, that's what she meant, right? Mon said, "Reminds me of Russia as a country, a bad country." And Courtney said, "That's crazy." Yeah. So yeah, that's California. All right, I got one more clip for you guys. I wanted to show you guys this. So remember we talked about Vivek Ramaswamy on the Breakfast Club. First of all, those clips of Tucker giving it to them Republicans was hilarious. I don't know if everybody saw that, but you should see they did like this summit where they all talked to Tucker, and he pretty much ended Mike Pence.
Yep.
He's pretty much done for. But Vivek actually did really good.
Yeah.
He actually raised up in the polls after that.
He's coming to Philly.
Is he?
Yeah, he's going to Lower Marion.
People are saying like, yo, he's the only one that's not afraid to talk to people. Like even DeSantis won't take certain interviews. Like he won't talk to certain people.
He just did one in Chicago.
Yeah. So this is him on the Breakfast Club. So we showed the one before. Well, we didn't show that, but we talked about it before about the way they treated him with the girl.
Right.
So I wanted to show this clip because this is him challenging Charlemagne about white supremacy. It's pretty interesting.
I can absolutely blame white supremacy, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
See, say more. and then I'll respond to that.
I mean, just look at the history of the country. Like, it's really just that simple for me. The country has never fulfilled its promises of freedom, liberty, and justice for all. It's always been freedom, liberty, and justice for some. And usually that some is white people.
So here's what I would say in response to that. That is obviously true that the nation has fallen short of our promise since our founding. But walk through some obvious facts about America. We're not founded on an ethnicity or a monarch or a food or even a religion. We're founded on a set of ideals that brought a group of people together in 1776, and we live by those ideals. At least we aspire to those ideals today. A nation that aspires to ideals that's not made up of gods, but made up of human beings will always fall short of those ideals. So I think our worst hypocrisies as a country, and we have many of them, our worst hypocrisies are our best evidence that we have ideals at all. You take a look at other countries. Nobody ever calls the Chinese Communist Party a hypocrite, or China a hypocrite, or Iran a hypocrite. Why is that? Because to be a hypocrite, you at least had to have ideals in the first place.
But a lot of
and so we're imperfect, but we are about the pursuit of a more perfect union, the pursuit of happiness. America's about the pursuit. And so I think that trashing ourselves, I think we are, actually.
The reason I say that is because, we never were included in those ideals originally.
Originally.
Yeah.
But never and not originally are two different things. Originally.
I like that point. Never and not originally are two different things. So
that's true. Over 250 years of progress, if you had somebody who was in 1870 looking at the world we live in today, if you had somebody in 1960 who was looking at the world we live in today as it relates to race in America, we would be darn close to what they would have thought of as the promised land. So I think we have to recognize that America is about that pursuit. We're a lot further along than we were 250 years ago. And here's the other thing, too. We got to set our expectations. We will always fall short of our ideals. By definition, if there are human beings and not gods living in a nation that aspires to ideals, we are fallen. Man is fallen. That's what makes us who we are. But what also makes us different from animals is that we have ideals. So America's founded on our humanity, that we can believe and aspire to something that we will still fall short of. That's what makes this country beautiful. And that's why that's why I'm in this. You ask me, why am I in this? I care about reviving pride in that nation, because if we get into the habit of just bashing that country, what are we bashing? We're bashing the last best hope that man has for aspiring to those ideals. Tell me who else has done better. I'll wait.
I thought he did an amazing job there.
Yeah, that was really good.
I thought he did. I mean, this is why he's gaining so much steam. You know,
and listen, even though I thought the interview was biased, I give them credit, especially Charlemagne, for welcoming him.
Yeah.
And bringing on Republicans, at least to hear the alternative side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate
they don't usually
dialogue.
do that.
They don't usually do it. And I think it shows something in him. Because I did not know about him a month ago.
Right.
Who is he? I don't even know.
Vivek Ramaswamy. He is a tech entrepreneur. He's built like a multi-billion-dollar company in the pharmaceutical world, which is a red flag for me.
Yeah.
But he did build a business. He's a first-generation naturalized citizen. His family came here as immigrants.
Right.
And I think he was born. He was born here.
He was born here.
Yeah, but he.
Where's his family from?
India.
Oh, okay.
But yes,
my people.
So he's running for president, and he's been, the first time I saw him was on Tim Pool's podcast, and he was making a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And he's been making the rounds. He's been talking to everybody, So I just think that
it's interesting because not to get on more of a spiritual. I remember praying, and one of the first things, like when I was hearing God, like, oh God is speaking to me. Like I remember he spoke to me about America, and one of the things he said was, "Who do you think put the idea in their head to begin with?" So,
the idea of freedom.
Yeah.
Right.
So, these things, they come from a source, right? And they have to be worked out. We're, like you said, we're fallen.
It's the pursuit of the ideal.
Yeah. We have to work it out. We have to hold each other accountable. That's what we've been doing, right?
For the most part.
That for the most part, in
Yeah.
terms of like somebody will come along and say, no, this is
we've been doing this wrong. We need to be better at this.
yeah. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Like throughout history, that's what you see.
Mhm.
We have to. Well, what does this mean? What does this actually mean? And if you don't have, and I think that the church leads in that
Mhm.
because the best outcome is God's, right? To an idea.
Yeah.
Where did it come from in the first place?
And I think that's why we've gotten so far off track, because the church took a back seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in
they
the
don't want to deal with
1900s.
politics.
They
Right?
don't want to deal with anything cultural.
Right.
Yeah.
They just believe that we're not in the world. You know, we are the church. That's
Right.
the world.
Yeah.
And it became more of a business.
Yeah.
It became
Yeah.
it became ran like a corporation, you know.
Mhm.
And to piggyback off what you guys are saying here, it's like being a father and a husband.
Mhm.
We're imperfect. We're gonna make mistakes with our wives. We're gonna make mistake with the things we say. We're gonna make mistakes with our kids. But it shouldn't stop you from trying to to be better.
Be better,
to,
yeah.
To be a better husband.
Mhm.
You know, it shouldn't stop you from being a better dad. There are gonna be ways where there's sometimes when in my frustration, I yell at Sophia and it'll weigh on me.
Mhm.
I shouldn't do it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I let that, then that'll be that will stick with me, and that's how I address her.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so for me, I find myself if sometimes I'm frustrated with something and I yell at her, I will apologize, you know, in the sense of like, Soph, that I didn't mean to yell at you, but here's
Yeah.
why.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's something that I've learned.
Yeah.
You know, to how to do it. And that's what I'm saying. It's like with the ideals of the countries and politicians, they're never going to get it right.
No.
And if that's your hope that they're going to get it right, you know, you're already going to.
Yeah, but this country was built in a way where we're supposed to be holding
them accountable.
We hold each other accountable. It's broken down into communities.
And that's what it is.
You know?
That we haven't. That's what the brokenness is that we haven't done a good job at
Nope.
holding them accountable.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know.
Because we don't love others. We
Yeah.
only love ourselves.
Yep.
Right.
And that shows you how fallen we are.
Right.
Wasn't that in Timothy? Lovers of themselves.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
There you go. But when we start to love others, and that's, I mean, it's hard to love yourself when you don't know God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to love others when you don't know God. But it's interesting because, like, 1 Corinthians talks about how love bears all things. Love believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. So it's funny because it says that you were a child, right? As a child, I spoke as a child. I did childish things.
Yeah.
But then I grew up. I became a man. I gave up childish ways.
Yeah.
So that's the connection. Like as a child, you're selfish. As a child, you only see yourself.
Yeah.
You only see how it affects
about
you.
me?
Right.
Yeah.
And we see that in the world. We see if we're just fleshly or just like a mental state where everything has to do with us,
Yeah.
we're going to view that in the world. We just talked about transactional marriage, right?
Yeah.
That's not real covenant marriage. So now it's really about you and you,
Yeah.
right? My love language, all that stuff. Like it becomes how you speak to me, I speak to you,
Yeah.
right? Not to say that some of that isn't true, but I'm just when you just make it these things, it takes it away. But the problem is that we're childish. We got to grow up, and only love can grow us up. Only love grows us up. When we recognize that love endures, that love is greater than us, when we stop saying love is love, love is love means you know what love is.
Love is love means nothing.
Well, I'm saying the way they interpret it is love, however I feel like
Yeah,
loving you
right,
or me or you,
right.
or you can love
Whoever I
that
love,
means that means you're selfish. It's literally selfish. But when you say, no, there's a greater love, right? Jesus died for me. He loved me,
So
right?
I'd say
Yeah.
a higher love.
Actually, that's
higher love.
by those sayings, all those little sayings that we thought was cute. That's how the acceptance of homosexuality became more prevalent, because love is love.
Yeah.
Let them love.
Yeah.
They just love each other.
Yeah.
Once you start using this kind of language, and we as Christians fell for that. These cards, these sayings, we don't realize people are writing this stuff.
Yeah,
You know, you
people-
complete me. You're my half. You're my
Yeah.
this, you know, without you. So all these sayings, start to seep into the lexicon, and it becomes a way to change things around.
That's why I'm always telling people to be careful of sayings, new sayings, because it's all, those are spells, literally.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
That's a good way to put it.
Because what it does is it just puts you in a mind frame, and then you see that mind frame manifest into things in the future. You know, and we saw that throughout COVID.
Yeah, we were talking about this at church. I think it's so key. What religion does, and I say religion because don't think because you're not like Christian, Jew, Muslim, whatever, Hindu. Don't think you don't follow a religion, because if you're
atheist, agnostic,
yeah, that's a religion,
Yeah.
right? It's what you hold to. And I'm saying it because it's how you judge the world. It's your worldview, right? It's your worldview. But the difference with God is this. It's about faith. It's about looking for faith, right? When I honor my wife, I honor her because she's faithful. I look and I see, I could pick her apart, right? But what's that going to do? I'm honoring and encouraging her where she's been faithful to me, right? I remember when I was picking my wife apart before she was my wife.
Yeah.
And I got stopped in my tracks by God. Like, no, she's faithful. So I think God is, Jesus says, you know, when the Son of Man returns, will he find faith?
Yeah.
I think that's key. Like, we want to like judge people and look at, well, they don't do this, they don't do that. No, it's about faith. Do you trust? Because being faithful means you trust. My wife trusts me. And if she trusts me, she actually trusts God.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to trust me alone.
Right.
You get what I mean? But me connected to God, that's something you can trust.
Bam.
Right.
Paul and Moan both said he's born in Ohio. Yeah, Ohio. That's where he's from.
And you
We were just in Ohio.
Yeah.
And you got in this, you know, as you're saying that, right? If you begin to pick, you're using your wife, but in general, you begin to pick somebody apart, that opens the door for temptation. Because as you're doing that, right behind that is Satan saying, you're right.
Yeah.
She ain't good enough.
Yeah.
You could do better.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you could do better, but you could have her and another woman.
And he'll maybe whisper in the ear of one that thinks you're cute.
One that thinks you're
You
cute.
know what I mean? And come up next to you and say
Things
a
are
little
cute.
thing.
So now the destruction of the family come. You didn't think.
Yeah.
What would that lead to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Or maybe you're better than that guy she's married to. No, you need to step in there and see all those things. Now you're destroying two marriages.
Yep.
Right.
You're destroying two marriages.
All right, let me show. I want to play this clip. This is more of the conspiratorial thing, but I saw this. This is from this year, I think.
I'm very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55
Is this real?
Yeah.
a.m. in the country where she was born. So this will not give you more details.
They don't want to tell you where she was
the
born.
location. She's fine. We call her Eve between us. You knew that, of course. Some suggested it, and I thought it was a good idea, actually. You won't have the right name. And, you know, for a long time, I thought that this press conference will be with the baby, the parents, the scientists, everybody surrounding me, and having pleasure announcing it. I'm alone. And there is a reason to that, is that it hasn't been easy to face the world with this announcement. And we have been discussing with the parents the last 3 months how we would handle today. And they decided not to show up yet. They will. I hope they will. And I wish them well. We started really to work with human eggs in January of this year. So it took us 3 months to finalize, and this is very short, and that's why I said, is it luck or is it hard work? I do believe it's hard work. But we had we had really good success very quickly and refined the technique for human eggs until spring, where we started to have implantation. We had 10 implantations, and 5 of them during the first 3 weeks were terminated spontaneously. 5 others were successful and are still successful. The first one was born yesterday. The next one is due in Europe.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get it. What is it?
A clone.
You didn't hear what she
I
said?
couldn't hear the beginning of it.
She said that the first clone baby
clone, 'cause I couldn't hear.
was born.
So where are they getting the information from?
The clone?
Yeah.
They didn't say. They won't say where it was born.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
In a country, and then they're gonna call her Eve.
Oh my God.
Wow. This is yeah.
Yeah. That is a dark.
So it's a copy of a person.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if they, from my understanding, right, a clone. I could be wrong. Is like a piece of tissue, not egg. That's in vitro. If it's an egg or sperm involved.
I don't know if there is an egg and sperm involved.
Right. I have to look it up because, like I said, from what my understanding of it, a clone could be like a copy of your tissue, your
Right.
tissue DNA. It doesn't necessarily come from like seed or egg or anything
Right.
like that. But if they're using that, it's like,
Well, they said that they started copying eggs in January, and then that's the other thing that's weird is like she said something about 3 months. It took them 3 months. So how's the baby born already?
Yeah.
The whole thing is
I don't know.
weird.
I thought that was strange.
Yeah. She looked weird anyway.
She did.
It
She
could
looked
be
like a
just
witch.
somebody put a bunch of mics in front of a person, like close up shot. Say this.
Yeah. I know. Who knows what that is? I saw it.
I mean, we know it's wicked.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know that.
So
this is getting crazy, man.
Last thing, I saw these videos going around. People are trying to create this other conspiracy around Sound of Freedom, saying that it was funded by some Clinton donors and that it's really just a psyop to get people focused on. They're going to try to chip children. They're going to try to implement this chipping children because of the sex trafficking thing. Like this is another side of the conspiracy that they're trying to blow up to get people in fear or to not go watch this movie. So Tim Ballard actually made a statement about that conspiracy theory. I haven't seen it yet. I just saw it on Twitter, so we'll watch that together, see what he says.
Hey guys, it will never cease to amaze me how far the godless leftist media will go to run interference for human traffickers. They're throwing everything at me right now. I just saw a post that seems to be trending in certain places saying that I am in favor of putting microchips in children so we can track them. It's complete baloney. I've never weighed in on that. I've never said anything. In fact, I'm very much against anything that would allow the government or others to control children. I just found out yesterday that I'm also apparently involved in trafficking. I run trafficking networks, or that I'm some Mason involved in strange
I did
Masonic
see that
practices.
too. They were trying to say he was a Mason.
It's not going to stop. Expect every lie. At this point, I have been accused of everything but murder. So I want you just to expect more to come, including probably that I've killed people. Who knows? Everyone a part of the film, including me, but we're not going to let them do that. We're going to force the light into the darkness, force the conversations that in the end will rescue children.
So yeah, so it's like they come after Jim Caviezel as a QAnon, cuckoo guy, and they're seeding the conspiracy internet trolls with this idea that he's actually a Freemason and he's in the elite club and this is all a psyop. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to hear what his response.
But see,
to all
that's
that
the
was.
danger. Like I was saying earlier about like people wanting to just consume knowledge.
Yes, yes.
Because you're always looking for the new thing,
Mhm.
right? Oh, but did you
But
hear?
you didn't hear about this.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all all watching Sound of Freedom, but y'all didn't know that.
Right.
I see people posting that on Instagram. People are sending it to us. I've had people sending it to us in the DMs. Like, so it's just interesting. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No.
Anything you guys want to touch on? Maybe you saw somewhere we didn't touch on it.
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll have a lot to say about Sound of Freedom next week after we watch it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be good, man. Having all the families there and all the friends and stuff watching it together. It's going to be dope. So we're supporting the movie. Guys, thank you for watching. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's been with us the whole time. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to Mo, man. Sorry you couldn't be here. Stan, same thing. Shout out to Paul, Courtney, Theris, Emma, all the Young Lions. And if you haven't become a Young Lion and you want to join the Pride and become a part of this community, because we're like a family around here, well, a lot of us are family, you can go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/youngliontv, and sign up over there, become a part of the Pride. Also, you can also go to the link that is in our Instagram and our TikTok and our Facebook page, and there's a newsletter. If you want to hit that link, you can sign up for our newsletter so you can be kept up to date on future events that we're going to be having. When we travel, maybe we can come holler at you in your city, all that stuff. Also, don't forget we got merch: the Young Lion t-shirts, the hats, the mugs, the towels, the all kind of stuff, stickers, posters, whatever you want to get if you want to just support and show people that you're a part of the Pride, the Young Lion Pride. Also, our song Open just came out 2 weeks ago. Go check that out. It is available everywhere the music is streaming. And we have a show July 28th in Woodbury, New Jersey. If you're going to be in the area, it's going to be a free show outdoor Friday night, July 28th at Lot 323. You can come check us out over there. We're going to be doing a bunch of new music. It's going to be a great show. A lot of the Young Lions will be there. And we will, have some fun. So thank you guys for coming through tonight, man. I know James put in a long day today and then came back to do the podcast, brother missed it. He said, I haven't been on it a couple times.
No, so I got to make this one.
Make it. And thank you, Mom, for doing your thing. We appreciate you over there.
Up tonight.
It's okay. It's okay. We appreciate you anyway because you don't have to do it. But again, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And I had some people on Rumble. That's why I was pulling up the Rumble earlier. They were waiting for us to go live. The Rumble didn't work tonight for some reason. So, next week we'll have it fixed. But shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has